Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I will be filming my first Vlogmas of December, which is going to be my November wrap-up. I decided that each day I would give you a little vlog kind of video before I start my real video. Today I am in the living room. This is my overstuffed chair. Above me I have two posters. Where's the other one? Oh, this way. If you can see that, it's no, there we go. I have my Kill Bill posters. Let me just stand up. It'll probably be easier if I do it that way. So we have Kill Bill 1. I love my posters. Kill Bill 2. Yes. So that's my living room arrangement. This is where my children sit to watch TV. We bought this chair for all of us to share, but they pretty much take over the living room. So let's get on with the November wrap-up. This month I read 8 books, which is pretty darn good if I do say so myself. Most of those books were 5 stars, which is pretty amazing because having 5-star books, that many 5-star books, is pretty outstanding. 6 out of the 8 books that I read this month were from my own shelves. Go me. 2 of them I have here, and those were from the library, so I can't wait to get started. The first 6 that I'm going to talk about, I already have review videos, which I will link down below, and I also put all of these books away on my shelves, and so I didn't want to dig them all out for this wrap up, so I'll just show pictures, that way you guys can see it that way. The first book that I read was Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead. This is the 3rd book in the Vampire Academy series. I read this with Penelope. I gave it 5 stars. It's amazing. I love Rose Hathaway. I love the Vampire Academy. I love Dimitri. I did not expect what happened at the end. I mean, I kind of assumed something was going to happen that was going to be bad. Like, I felt that ominous, you know, gut feeling. And then when it happened, I was like, no. And, you know, book 3 leaves you on a cliffhanger. And so I definitely can't wait to continue on with the next book, which is Blood Promise, this December. So, I can't wait. Friday. We're starting the book on Friday. The next book that I read was actually a novella, and that was The Map by William Ritter. This is the book that comes between Jacoby and Beastly Bones, and it was the cutest novella. And I've read a couple of novellas that I've given 5 stars to. Not a lot. Definitely, I can count them on one hand. I think 3 novellas so far I've given 5 stars to, and this is one of the 3. It was just so cute. It's about Jacoby and Abigail Rook going on a treasure hunt, and it was just so fun. I loved it. It was like 76 pages, something like that. Yeah, I told you I gave it 5 stars. The next book that I read was a graphic novel, and that was The Wicked and the Divine. And I can't remember what the authors of this graphic novel was, but it's about gods. I think there's 12, like for the zodiac sign. I think there's 12 gods, and every 90 years or so, these gods come and inhabit a young person. I think it's like a preteen up till teenage years. They inhabit this teen. They live in their bodies for 2 years, and as a god, all they want in life is to be admired, and so they usually end up becoming some kind of celebrity while they're on Earth, and in 2 years' time, the god disappears and the teenager that they inhabited dies, and then they start all over again 90 years later. My favorite character from this graphic novel was Lucy which is, you know, a girl Lucifer. I thought she was beautiful and I thought she was hilarious. And so I am definitely looking forward to continuing on in the series. The fourth book that I read this month was You by Caroline Kepnes. This is a adult thriller about a man who, what was his name? Joe. Joe is a stalker, and he meets this girl named Beck one day in the bookstore that he works at, and he's infatuated with her, and he starts stalking her on social media and like watching her house, and eventually they start dating. It was very, very bizarre. Joe is insane. The things that he says is just absolutely horrifying. It's funny in a terrible, terrible way. Like, you don't mind laughing at this kind of stuff as long as it's not towards you. And I can't wait to read the next book. It took me forever to pick this book up, almost a year, and I'm happy I did. I gave that one 4 stars, just because Joe is so awful, like revolting, so gross. The next book that I read was Cut by Patricia McCormick, I think. I might be wrong. Her last name is McCormick. I can't remember what the first name is. This is a YA dark contemporary about a girl who is in a mental hospital for cutting. But if you have a problem with cutting, it's not very established in the book. It doesn't like go into detail or anything like that, so you may be able to still read it if you wanted to. I did enjoy it. I gave it 5 stars in its own way because it touched me personally, and yeah, I liked it. So if you want to read a very short mental illness book about a girl having to express her feelings without speaking, then that is a book for you. The next book that I read was Beastly Bones, again by William Ritter. This is the sequel to Jacoby. I am so excited to have, you know, picked these books up. I mean, it's one of my top 5 of the year. I absolutely love this series. I spoke with William Ritter through Twitter last week or the week before, and I was gushing, and he tweeted me back, and you know how I am about that. I was just so excited that he wrote back to me, and I asked him, you know, I said, don't ever stop writing these books. I will read them forever. And he said, I won't stop as long as you read them. And he told me that the 3rd book will be coming out August 2016. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. There's no cover or anything, but I'll be hounding him on Goodreads. And then the last 2 books I have here, and these were the ones that I borrowed from the library. So this is, oh, I didn't even mention my weekly wrap up for week 46, I think I'm on. Hello. So this is The Devil and Winnie Flynn by Mikkel Osto and David Osto. Now, when I first picked up Mikkel's other book, which was Amity, last year on NetGalley, I thought the author was a boy, but it's actually, am I showing it? That's Mikkel, and that's her brother, David. They live in Boston, and this book takes place in Boston. Now with Amity, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't think it was scary, and although the writing was okay, it wasn't something to get super excited about. And I am giving this book a 3 as well. It was okay, but it wasn't super scary, and definitely wasn't something to be excited about. I did review Project 17 by Lori Ferrara Stollarts. I think it was last month, in the month of October. And I thought that book was great for a beginner horror reader. It was in an insane asylum, and it was creepy, but it wasn't super spooky, and there wasn't any big jump factors in the book, so there wasn't like this anxious buildup that you were like biting your nails about. So it was a pretty tame horror novel, and I would consider this to be pretty tame as well, which is really misleading because the blurb on here, it says one of the most terrifying reads of the year, and it absolutely was not terrifying whatsoever. So in this book, Winnie Flynn is a 17 or 16? She's a teen. It's the summer. Her mom just committed suicide, and her estranged aunt, which is the mother's sister, comes to pick up Winnie after the funeral to spend the summer with her. Her aunt just so happens to be like a world-renowned reality show director, producer, whatever, of a paranormal reality show. And so the aunt goes from place to place that's supposed to be haunted and interviews people and does a whole season on that particular area, and she's super famous for it. And so she's having Winnie be the PA, which is a personal assistant, and so she's supposed to help her aunt over the summer. Now, Winnie doesn't believe in ghosts. She doesn't believe in anything paranormal. She thinks her aunt is a complete hogwash and that she's lying about the whole production. Which, you know, the aunt coughs up later on. Yeah, it's kind of a lie, but I really believe that this stuff is real. And so Winnie just follows her along in Boston on all these different excursions to different like haunted areas, talking about the Boston Devil. I think that's what it's called, which is supposed to be like a gargoyle or some other kind of creature that's supposed to lurk within the Boston woods and terrorize people, yada yada. You finally get to meet the monster at the end, and it wasn't that scary. And the whole creep factor in this book never really happened for me. I mean, it was kind of slow in that aspect. It had like different formats in it, which, you know, I like. So it had like what it looks like script writing, and it had illustrations. That's what David's job was for. So here's an illustration of what David did on a building. I really enjoyed the illustrations. I think David does a really good job at the drawings, and it matched the book perfectly, but I just didn't feel it to be scary whatsoever. So if you are interested in reading like a creepy book but it's not very scary and you like YA writing, I would definitely pick this up. I don't know if I'll read another Meikle book because her writing is just so-so. I don't know. I am glad I picked it up though. Alright, and then the very last book that I read in November, and I read like 10 pages today, but I finished almost all of it before Sunday, and that is A Madness So Discreet. This is by Mindy McGinnis. She also wrote a drop. I don't know what it's called. It's a dystopian. There's 2 books in the series, so I guess it's a duology, or it may be a trilogy and only 2 books are out. I wasn't interested in reading it because it's about a girl who lives in a deserted area that has like a very small pond in front of her house, and she has to keep people from stealing the water. That didn't really interest me. But this book, my friends, this book was very, very good, and now I want to pick up the dystopian because I really enjoyed her writing. When I first picked this book up, all I knew that it was a book about an asylum, and you guys know that's my weakness. I absolutely love reading books that have to do with asylums or mental hospitals or mental illness, and so I didn't know if it was going to be a paranormal, if it was going to be a horror, what kind of genre this book was going to be. Turns out it's a historical fiction mystery, and it's amazing. Now, I've already spoken about Jacoby, how it's like my absolute fave mystery book of 2015, and this, my friends, is a very close second. I would consider this to be like the big sister to Jacoby, because in Jacoby you have Jacoby, who is a paranormal detective, and you have Abigail Rook, who is his assistant. She is like an apprentice in a way, but she actually just, you know, assists him in viewing things that he may not find on his own. And that's what happens in this book. You have Thornhollow, who is a doctor, and his patient, which is Grace. She is a patient at an asylum, but she's really, really smart, and she's great at finding things because she's got like a photographic memory. And so she follows him along on all these murders in order to find out who the killer is. Like, she like looks at everything, all the details, and then when they get back to his office, then she helps him figure out what's going on. I read a lot of reviews that said they didn't like this book, which I was appalled. One person gave it a 1 star, and she said she only read half the book. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. You can't rate a book if you didn't finish it. You have to finish the book. You can say you don't like what you read, perfectly fine. But if you say it's 1 star, don't even waste your time reading it, but you don't even know what happened at the end. Oh, drives me crazy. I really, 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 really liked this book. If you're looking for a dark murder mystery, historical fiction with an asylum, and just craziness all around, definitely pick up this book. It does have a little bit of rape. Is never just a little bit. It's got rape in it. But again, it doesn't like linger on the rape. So if rape is a trigger warning for you, you may not want to pick this book up. It does have rape in it, but it's very little and it's very discreet, as the title suggests. It was just awesome. Some people might think it was slow. I thought it was crazy from the beginning, and it just went and went and went, and I loved every single aspect. All of the characters are well fleshed out, which is always important. It's a character-based novel, and I don't even know where it's set. I think it's set in the United States. I think it's set in the United States. Oh yeah. Yeah. Half of it is in Boston, the other half is in Ohio. So yeah, it is set in the United States, but it is historical fiction, and just pick it up. Just read it. Those are some terrible reviews. Okay, so those were the 8 books that I read in November. Again, I will leave all the links down below to all of my previous review videos and, of course, pictures. And, yes, so yay for Vlogmas Day 1. I will see you tomorrow with another video. Tomorrow will be Top 5 Wednesday, so I'm going to try and do my Top 5 Wednesday video. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.